Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the LVR Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is a pleasure to have you all here. Hope you've been doing good. I've been busy, so busy. Pre-med is catching up to me. Barely have time to do anything else. Barely have time to train. Always studying on the go. Like from the moment I wake up till the moment I'm going to bed, I'm studying. Shout out Anki flashcards. They've been saving me. That's all my screen time is dedicated to Anki flashcards. My phone's on Do Not Disturb, and all I'm worried about is doing my anatomy flashcards and my physiology flashcards. So that's currently the biggest thing in my life right now. What else? Cut my hair way shorter than usual. It was actually a lot shorter a couple of days ago. I think that's why I waited to film a bit. I was like, I can't film with having a little boy's haircut because it was like short. But because my barber just got engaged, so congrats to him. He's getting married. He's been engaged. He's getting married, and he's going to be gone for a month. So I had to cut everything super short because I had to plan it out that if I'm not going to see this man for a month, well, I need to prepare for that. And I will never cheat on my barber, no matter what. I refuse to cheat on my barber. I don't care if he's gone a month, 6 months. I guess I'm going to have a new long hairstyle because I will not cheat on him. I'm not getting another barber to cut my hair. I've been with my barber since 2018, so that's going to be 6 years now. Been getting my hair cut by the same guy, and I'll never leave him. I won't until he changes countries because he plans on moving to another country. But until then, I'm not I'm not going to get my hair cut by someone else. Which, ladies, to all the women watching this, if you want the easiest solution to know how loyal a guy is going to be to you, just look at his relationship with his barber. That's a clear sign. It'll tell you a lot. If he's jumping from barber to barber, there's a problem. I'm not saying he's a problem, but there's a problem somewhere. So, just saying. A man's relationship with his barber tells you a lot that you need to know. But luckily, I have a very good relationship with my barber, so shout out to him. Honestly, great guy. Really, since the day I walked in, it's crazy because I'm almost his age now when I met him, which is crazy, and it's crazy to see your barber grow. Anyways, to see people grow up in your life is to go through the different changes and stages of their life. Wild thing. But anyways, fall's right around the corner. I absolutely love fall. Can't wait for it to come, except I hate this weather. This hot, cold, super cold in the morning, then super hot during the day. Can't stand it. But soon it's going to be fall. It's going to be cute. There's going to be leaves. It's gonna be great. I love it. I'm a fiend for it. Anyways, so let's get right into today's episode. Today's situation is brought to us by S. S chose to not write their name, and I don't blame you, S. So we're just gonna call you S. I was gonna think of a name, but then if I give you another person's name, it's just gonna get confusing, and we don't want that. So S is talking about another breakup. It's been a pattern in these in the situations I've been choosing. However, S wants their partner back, or at least she thinks she does. So I'm not sure, but it's gonna be something to get into. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because I promise you, this story takes a turn at one point. Just when you think you're on one person's side, boom, there's the X factor. So let's get right into it. S starts us off with, I'm feeling really lost right now. I just broke up with my boyfriend who on paper checked all the boxes. He was kind, caring, successful, and treated me very well. It's nice. But deep down, I knew I wasn't really in love with him. I stayed with him because he was convenient, and I thought maybe over time I would develop stronger feelings for him. That's the first red flag. Well, not the red flag. My apologies. Poor use of language. The first, I'd say, issue. I realized now that I didn't put enough energy into our relationship. I didn't really value his emotional needs, and I thought I could please him with just sexual acts. I didn't make much of an effort to connect with him on a deeper level. It's not that I didn't want to. I just never felt like I had to put that effort. I think he started to sense that I wasn't fully invested, and I made him lose interest. So he lost interest because he felt she wasn't putting the right amount of effort. A few weeks ago, he broke up with me. We kept some form of contact, but recently he told me he had met someone else who made him feel truly valued and that he didn't want to keep contact with me anymore. Hearing that was hard because I felt us keeping contact was my way to prove to him I could be better. It's even harder now because the new girl looks similar to me, and I don't know if he's doing it just to get back at me or not. Ooh, the plot thickens. Now I'm struggling with a mix of emotions. I feel regret for not trying harder and sadness for losing my quote-unquote man, who is genuinely good to me. Then I'm confused about my own feelings about what I want in a relationship. I can't stop thinking about how quickly he moved on and wondering if that girl was in the picture the whole time, because it's not like him just to jump into something so quick. I just don't know whether I'm truly all in the wrong about this. He could have been playing me the whole time, and he just tried to switch the blame on me when he got tired of me. Or he could have really been hurt by my actions, and I don't know how I should be feeling right now. Well, first of all, good on you for seeing both sides of it, that it could either really just be, the fact that you're taking some form of accountability. I think that's a good first thing that you're doing. So, props to you. Proud of you. Because, you could have easily just said, oh, the other girl was there the whole time. He was cheating on me, forget him. But, the fact that you're, being mature about your actions, I think is a great first step. So I think if we're going to backtrack here, let's start at the beginning of this. And it's, why did you stay with him in the first place? I know you said he was convenient and that, he checked off a lot of your boxes and everything. But your relationship isn't exactly going to thrive just if there's no real emotional attachment there. Often we'll get involved with someone because we're missing something in our lives. Sorry, guys, I'm going to put on my glasses to read my episode notes today. It's just not clicking. It's going to be a glasses episode. But we stay with people because we'd rather have something in our lives than nothing, because we feel like we're missing something and we need someone to keep filling that hole, like we talked about in episode 3. And we just can't stand being alone that badly. We need someone to fill in that void. So I think that was maybe the first issue, is that when you were talking about how he was just convenient and he was just kind of fun to keep around, I think your intention with that was maybe the first indicator that your relationship just wasn't going to go anywhere. And it has nothing even to do with him. It just has something to do with you. Like, it wasn't really either your time to be in a relationship or it just wasn't the right person. And, this reminds me of something called the Regent Beta Paradox. And it goes with everything in our lives. Not just relationships. It could be work. Oftentimes we see this with work or just our living conditions, in that if we put let's say any type of living condition on a scale, if something is not truly terrible, like it's not bad enough to force us to make a change, we're going to accept it and just live with it. But the problem is that we're right at the cusp. You might be right at the cusp, right at the edge of like being able to make a proper difference in your life if things would only be slightly worse. And since they're not slightly worse, you're just accepting it and you're still suffering, but in your head it doesn't seem that bad. And the way I could put this is, let's say you're at a job, it's making a decent amount of money, enough money for you to survive. You're not thriving, you're not living how you'd want to be living, but it's making enough money just to keep you comfortable, let's say. You don't really like your job, but it's not super hard, it's not super difficult, it's very all right and okay. You see, the fact that everything's just all right and okay and somewhat comfortable, it's allowing you to just stay where you are, and it's not enticing you to go make a difference or do anything different or to make a change. But you see, if the job wasn't paying you enough, if the job really sucked, like you hated it, you couldn't stand it, you would force yourself to go out of your way to go seek and find something that you desire more, that you truly do enjoy better. And if we look at it from the perspective of your relationship, sorry, my mom just came back in the house. If we look in the perspective of your relationship, like you said, he checked off all your boxes and you just enjoyed what it was. I mean, it wasn't exactly what you wanted. You weren't exactly content with him. You weren't completely satisfied in your relationship, but it kept you comfortable and you were taken care of. So you were all right with that. So you're kind of living that paradox right there where you're not really living the relationship you want to live, but just because I guess ideally it seems okay, you want to, stay in it, which is something we have to reflect on in almost everything, but especially in relationships. You can't just stay in a relationship because it's all right and it gets the job done. Especially with anything emotional, you can't do it. You should be thriving and enjoying any emotional connection you have. And the toughest part is recognizing at what point do we feel that emotional connection with someone? Is it really there? And I'm not going to really give an answer to this. I'm going to give more of a question, just an absolute pure question for thought that I want your guys' opinion on. And it's, at what point from meeting someone should you know that you have feelings for them and you want to be with them? Like, when, I'm not going to say when you know you're in love with them, but when do you know, like, oh, I have feelings for this person? By what point should you know you have feelings for someone, and then knowing it's the appropriate time to either stay and pursue, or I don't have feelings and I should leave? Everyone has a very different gauge on that, because it could be like, some people will enter a quote-unquote situationship for a couple of months and see, if the feelings are there, and then either one person gets tired of waiting and just wants the title of a relationship, and the other person might not still be sure, or vice versa. So they just end up ending it. Some people abuse this idea and they just use it to keep someone around waiting while they can still go do whatever nonsense they want to do. Some people just jump into a relationship not fully knowing their feelings, and then they just pay the price for it right after, and then realize that, a couple of months or even years into the relationship, that maybe the feelings they thought they had weren't always there, and either they lied to themselves or they tried to believe those feelings were there when they weren't. So that's why I want to know, at what point should you know when to stay or leave a relationship? That's my question. Think about it. Drop it in the comments. Let me know, because I'm curious. Because for me, I know whether to leave or when to stay. Actually, I don't even know how to answer this question. With every person I've spoken to, it's been so different. I have forced myself into a couple of relationships. A lot of them. Well, I haven't been in that many relationships, to be honest, 3.5. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not gonna open up with that one too much. That's not today's. It's not about me today. It's about S. I'm not gonna get into that. Anyways, moving on. Is that then you? One point I want to bring up, S, is when you spoke about compensating his emotional needs with sexual intimacy, which I don't think was the best thing to do, and I think is a big problem in modern relationships, where people think that we can just take acts of intimacy, but that are not fueled by like true emotional care for the other person, and then just have it compensate for emotional needs and connections. So maybe just physically satisfying your partner isn't necessarily gonna, fulfill those emotional needs that they're looking for, because it goes beyond just that. It really goes beyond truly caring for someone, and that can be expressed in so many different ways. And it's not just when it comes to physical acts, but in every act we do for our partner. Sometimes we have to understand what is our intention behind that act, because the same action can mean so many different things. So you have to recognize, why is your partner doing it? And you also have to recognize, how is your partner interpreting it, because it could truly change their understanding of it. And an example of this, my final note was, do not confuse forms of expression of emotional care for forms of compensation. We cannot compensate emotional needs. And my example for this is, let's say you fly out your partner for a trip. You and your partner a 2-week vacation to Europe, let's say. Now, why are you bringing them on this trip? Is it because you want to share an emotional, intimate experience with them and create a beautiful and loving memory? Or are you doing it because your partner, says, oh, we never do nothing, I feel like you don't want to buy me things. I don't think you want to care for me. You're just not putting an effort in me anymore. So it's like, essentially, are you just bringing them on vacation so they just stop complaining for a couple of months? Or are you doing because it's a real expression of love for how you feel for them? And another one I actually saw on social media the other day, on TikTok, and it was a really good example, is when a guy buys a girl's flowers. Here's the thing with guys buying girls flowers. You see, it's very easy for a guy to just walk in anywhere, pay $30 for a random bouquet, $50 for a random assortment of flowers and a bouquet, wrap it up, give it to your girlfriend and go, here you go, hope you're happy, stop complaining that you don't get flowers. Versus someone that goes in, truly handpicks out her favorite flowers, the ones she talks about, the ones that are important to her, and makes a really nice bouquet out of it and goes, I know how much this bouquet of flower means to you, so I got it because I want to make you happy and show how much I care and I listen, versus just buying the flowers so your significant other stops complaining. I'd make an example for the other way around, but I'm too lazy and I can't really think of one on the spot right now, so we'll just leave it at that. But it could be the same way on the opposite way around, I just, I don't think I need to make the second comparison. I think we get it. But anyways, okay, let's say your boyfriend wanted a pair of sneakers and you just get him any random pair of Jordans because he said, oh, I want Jordans, right? You get him just the pair of, I'm sure he'll be grateful and appreciative of it, but it's not going to exactly be the ones he wants. Versus if you buy him a pair of Jordans that he's been talking about for a minute now, why am I making this comparison? You guys get the point. I don't need to, you get it. I hope you get it. So we need to consider our intentions behind all of these actions, because instinctively our partner will always know. They'll always see what's the true intent behind your actions and why you're choosing to do something. So to bring this all back to you, S, the reason why your man left is because he obviously saw that your sexual acts of intimacy weren't because you were showing him how much you appreciate him and how much it wasn't an expression of your care and love for him. It was just a reason for him to stick around, which it makes my body screenshot when I say that. It's it's like, you're really sad. It just sucks. And I'm not dissing you, S. I'm not putting any hate on you, but it just sucks. Doing something physically with someone just to do it, or just to hope that they stick around, or that they'll like you more, it's an awful feeling. It really sucks for all ends. Nobody wins. Nobody wins in that situation. The person receiving just feels uncomfortable the whole time. It's like there's no pleasure out of it. It just sucks. Then you got the person doing it who hates it. It's just uncomfortable. It's not fun the whole time. So you're both there like two idiots, just lying down, hating what just happened. None of you want to be there. You feel gross. You feel alone. You feel weird. Why do we do this? Stop. Just put a stop to it. Stop. Just don't. Don't do things you don't want to do. If you're not doing something out of the righteousness of your heart because you want to do it for someone else, don't do it. Just don't do it. There's no point. If anything, do it in your way. Do it in your own expression if you don't know how to do it in a way they like. It's better than just, Anyways. And then, as to continue, is that you said that you kept contact with him because you want to be better to him, which that doesn't really make sense to me. Because, and like I said, no hate whatsoever. I'm being truly honest and genuine towards you. I will never understand why we choose to make our efforts for someone once they're not there anymore or once they're gone. And then I know everyone's going to say, oh, it's because you never realized what you truly had. It's because you didn't appreciate, or you didn't have gratitude towards the person that was in your life while they were there. Now they're gone and now you're missing them. Listen, unpopular opinion, but if you didn't truly appreciate them while they were there in your life, it's because you didn't want to. Let's be real. It's stronger than us. if you really do like someone in the moment and you really want to like show them that you care for them, you will show it, or it will click in your head at one point and kick in, maybe after the like first discussion you guys have about not feeling appreciated for each other. The second one being like, hey buddy, like it's time to wake up. Once you've had like 4 or 5 discussions of like, hey, like I feel like you don't appreciate me, like I feel like you're not making any efforts, you know, at that point it's just because they don't want to. And then people are gonna argue, yeah, but once they left, that's what it took for them to realize. They still don't realize. In my opinion, they're just lying to you. They're just saying that just to get you back around. And then you might hit me with the counter argument and be like, oh, but it's because if they're asking to have me back in my life, it's because they truly do value me now. And no, they don't. They like that comfort and that security we were talking about before. Like they like having you to fill that void, because once you leave, it's not getting filled anymore. And there's still that insecurity, and there's still that loneliness, and there's still that like little puddle that you end up filling that just sits right with them. So keep in mind, sometimes it's not always because someone understands. And I'm not saying, this is not an absolute, okay? I'm not saying some people do need 4 or 5 attempts and for you to leave to realize how much you care about them. But let's be honest. Let's just be real. You're going to know if they truly mean it or not. And let's say a good chunk of the times, if it takes them that many times to kick in their head, it's probably not. But if they truly do mean it, they have to show it over a long period of time. Long period of time. It can't just be, oh, he changed 1 month after. No, he's got to, and then what, after 1 month it goes back to the same thing? Or after 1 month she does the same thing again? It could be anybody. We're all responsible. We're all being held accountable here. So just please keep that in mind, that I don't understand why you would wait till after you broke up to put in the effort that that person might have needed. Why couldn't you just put it while you were together? And I'm not sure if you guys had spoken about it or not. Because if you didn't have a conversation and that person just dipped, your ex just dipped, I get it. Maybe it's like you didn't have a chance to kind of realize the better. So that's fair there. But if you've had multiple discussions on it and then you just choose to do the right thing after they leave, take it as a learning experience. That's what I would tell you, person. Just take it as a learning experience and move on. And it's not to sound negative. It's really not. But it's just because maybe it might not be your person. Because while we're on the topic, keeping contact with your ex is never a good idea. And I know, you know, a lot of us might have this bad habit. It's a terrible tendency of mine. I always have this horrendous habit that if I ended on good terms with an ex, I stay in good contact with them. And the reason I don't think it's a good idea is just because, especially immediately after, there's always someone that's going to be more heavily emotionally connected to the other person still. And it's hard for them to accept that, like, you're kind of in their life, but you're not anymore. You guys can't do the same thing together. You can't talk to each other the same way, but you want to. So there's like these weird like boundaries that aren't spoken about, and like we don't assess them properly. So I have that bad habit with 1.5 of my exes. 3.5 relationships, guys. Don't ask about them. 3.5 relationships. But with 1.5 of my exes, I've had that terrible thing where like I stayed in contact after we broke up, and it's because we ended on good terms. Especially the first ex I ever stayed in contact with. She was such an amazing woman to me. The best woman I've been with up to date. She's treated me amazingly. Nothing but love and respect for her. But after our breakup, it's kind of like I felt so bad hurting her. She was going through a lot too. I still wanted to be there for her, but I had to realize that me just being there in her life was only making things worse. It was only hurting her more. And any of my actions that I might have done that weren't things she wanted to know about or hear about or see would only destroy her heart more. So sometimes when we think staying in our ex-partner's life makes things easier, it doesn't. I truly believe in being like in touch. Sometimes, we develop something really deep with our partner, and it's beyond just ourselves. It goes to like family. You get involved with the family and everything. So I believe in being in touch if needed for extreme circumstances, but you should not regularly be in each other's lives. that is just a bad idea. So when you're kind of in that weird zone with someone where whether you want to break up or not, I would say you have to make a decision, stick with it. It's either you stick together and you fix things, or you break up and you just try to move on. Either one, if you know you made a mistake, you're going to instinctually feel it. And I truly do believe in that. If you're trying to fix things together, at least you gave it an effort. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If you break up and you really feel like you have it in you, you both mutually break up and you feel like you both have it in you to try again, you'll both feel it, and I know what I just said kind of contradicts each other, but I truly do believe that this is a case-by-case circumstance too, with everything that I've said. So we can't just all jump it up, because then you have that weird friction where there's one person that wants to work things out and one person that wants to break up. So I feel like when that happens, you should just go with the breakup, because if you're not both in tune on the same page, it's just not going to work out. It's not going to work. So like I said with your situation, I think you just trying to keep contact with him, it wasn't really for him or for both of you. I think you did it more just for yourself, because you kind of regret how you acted. Maybe you didn't like the person you were. You didn't like how you were to him, and you just want to kind of either make it up to him or yourself, which you really don't have to. Like if maybe you weren't the best to your ex-partner, it's not your job to make it up to them. They will move on. They'll find someone that will, do the right thing. You spent your time with them. The only thing you can really do in that situation is just learn from what you did and be better for the next person you're going to meet. Or just take this time to learn about yourself so you don't repeat this with someone else. Sometimes if we just try to go back in and fix our mistakes, we can't always do that. It's better to just accept what we did. We take our accountability and we just prevent it for the future, which takes a big, big step. And now, entering our final parts, we get into him being with another girl and why does that bother you? And I think you have to reflect on, why does it bother you? Does it bother you that he has, quote unquote, replaced you with someone else? Does it bother you that he's happy with someone else that isn't you? So is it another girl that is making him happy and you feel like you didn't give a good effort and you couldn't give, that you're upset that's not you giving him that love? Or are you upset with him because he's with another girl because you think he was cheating on you the whole time, or that girl was always in the picture and you didn't know about it? So let's go with the first one, the first part, where you're upset that it's another girl making him happy and it's not you. And the truth is, everyone deserves to be happy in a relationship. Everyone deserves happiness and to share with someone else. And you're in a point where you cannot jump in and meddle with that. You can't jump in and try to interrupt what he's having with this new person. It might be a bit shorter, which we spoke about this, I think, in episode 2, if I'm not mistaken, or episode 3 again, where we were a very similar situation now that I think about it, but a bit different. But yeah, the way that I'm seeing it is that you have to let him be happy in his relationship. There's nothing you can do about it. You had your chance, you had your turn, and unfortunately, it's no longer yours. I'm very sorry to tell you that. But you will find happiness with someone else. I would tell you to go listen to episode 3. There's a lot of elements in there that will go help you. But like I said, you can learn from everything you experience with him, and you know for the next person. Now, let's say he cheated on you, right? He cheated on you with this girl. She was there the whole time. Then you don't have to worry about being with a cheater anymore. You can stay happy knowing that you're not with someone who would be still using you to this day and hurting you. And it gives you an easier reason to move on. In either situation, you have a learning experience to take away from. So you can be happy in the end in both scenarios, whether for whatever reason he's with that girl. The only thing you have to focus on in yourself is now you, right? What type of girlfriend, what type of partner do you want to be for someone in the future? So keep that experience in mind for the next person you get involved with. And the next time you get involved with someone, I want you to reflect on what they mean to you and what your relationship means to you, which is kind of circling back to what we spoke about in the beginning, is when you're entering something with someone, you kind of always have to ask yourself why. why am I getting with this person? Why do I want this relationship? Because it's a very stupid answer. It's a very stupid question to ask yourself, but the answer is going to tell you so much. Because you need to consider that when you're entering the relationship with someone, are you doing it because you want to share emotional love and experience with someone? Or is it just some convenient need for you? So, is it an expression of love, or is it a temporary fix for an insecurity? Now, the best way I can explain you this is to give you a little story that's happened to me in the past. A situation somewhat like this. And I've had this happen a couple of times, but my most recent experience, I think, would truly reflect everything I'm talking about. So, buckle in for a little story time to finish our last point of understanding why you get into relationships. So, this all dates back to an undisclosed time period sometime last year. I will not be giving out dates because I will incriminate myself. I'm kidding. But I'll start off with my side of things. For me, I've always been someone where when I jump into something with someone, I get into a situation with someone or whatever, I don't necessarily always think about why I'm doing it. I like to go with the vibes. I like to just feel out the situation. I've always been like that. I don't like to think too much because my problem is if I feel like if I read into things too much, if I think about it too much, I'm gonna just tell myself it's not worth getting into. I don't want to experience this with this person, and I'm gonna rob myself of an experience of being with someone. Now, the way I see things is that necessarily, if I don't get married to this person, if I don't end up with them long term, I feel like as long as I'm with whoever I get involved with, as long as I keep it respectful, I keep it true emotionally, and I share something nice with them, it's a both, and I can learn something from it. It's a very nice experience that both of us could share together and keep in mind in our lives. I feel like we can add something nice to each other's lives. That's the way I've always seen it. Now, isn't necessarily the right thing to do. I would say yes and no. You see, this is something I always communicate to somebody before I get involved with them. I tell them my intentions and my actions before I develop deeper, and I find it's important that through our different stages, as we pursue and we get deeper, we communicate where we are at mentally and emotionally. And that's how I've always been about things. I don't think it's necessarily the best thing to do. I think it's actually... it could still be seen as somewhat immature, but although I have changed recently, to be honest with you, but at the time, that was my state of mind. Now, I had met someone who was the complete opposite of me, they had been in a very long relationship over 2 years, I think 3. And then all their experiences had been very negative. The constant, the guy keeping her on the ropes, promising a relationship, never delivering it, expecting her to stay loyal, but not reciprocating loyalty, cheating on her. The very typical, not nice guy. Now, when this person started talking and getting involved with me, I say this to everybody I get involved with, I don't care what you do. I don't care who you talk to. I don't care who you go out with. I don't care. Unless we are dating, unless we have the official title and we are dating, you could do whatever you like. And I'm not telling you you're allowed to. It's not like that. I have no say. If I'm not dating you, I can't put a say on that. It's not respectful. It's not right. And the same should be reciprocated towards me. Unless we are dating, you cannot tell me what to do. Which I don't think you should tell you. I don't think you should ever be able to tell your partner what they can or can't do. What I mean more is setting those boundaries of let's say loyalty, whatever, right? My only rule was, the only thing I only ask of every girl I go out with is, I really don't mind whatever you do, whoever you go out with. I just don't want to know. Don't tell me. Don't insinuate things. Don't show me anything. I just don't want to know because it's going to turn me off. I just don't want to know. Now, this person, I told this person, and the way this person viewed me is I was exactly their type. I was everything that they liked. Ethnically wise, I am not much of a party, go out clubbing person. I stick to my routine. I work. I like working out. We share that in common, and I enjoy my academics and my studies, and they did too. And we were in not similar fields, but close enough. So you can obviously see that, this person enjoyed having somebody that stayed at home and was a good man. And obviously I took care of everything for her, picked her up all the time, took her out. I did the basic things, how things should be. I'm not expecting I deserve flowers for doing this. It's just. So, given that I was checking off all this person's boxes, obviously they want to pursue things with me. But as they were trying to pursue things with me, they also had some, what I would say, not bad tendencies, but self-destructive tendencies, such as showing me or trying to insinuate things of other guys she was talking to make me jealous. Now, obviously knowing that I do not like that, it shot her in the foot. And that was my first sign of this person doesn't really actually like me. I'm just convenient for them. And I should have taken that sign right away, but I didn't. I still continued. I still pursued. And I'm not going to get into exact details of what they did, but there was basically some photos, videos, plus some things on a dating app, whatever, right? The long story short, they were trying to get me jealous. They were trying to get a reaction out of me, and I don't roll that way. I find it childish. I don't like jealousy or forced jealousy. I just think it's weird. But anyways, we get over that. We fix it. We communicate it because I'm a big believer in giving I believe in giving people chances. Sometimes we make a mistake or we do something by accident that might not be truly who we are. So I'm like, let me continue this. Now, knowing what this person had done, I knew that right away, emotionally, I could never fully like them, to be in a relationship with them. I knew right away off of that. And I should have listened to myself, but I didn't. I was a bit immature in that sense, and I decided to still pursue things. Now, what happens is I kind of reciprocated what they did to me, except the difference is they just never found out. They never knew. So that was the only difference between me and them. Now, was that right of me? No, it was not right of me at all, and it was equally childish of me. And the reason why I'm being 100% honest and truthful, and I'm holding myself accountable as well as because I have to. It would be very dishonest of me to only talk about what one person did and not what I did. But I did the same things that them. I did very similar things to what they did to me. And by doing that, well, except the thing is, I didn't show them what I did. So you can even argue it was worse. But I did that kind of as because for me, it was an emotional safety net for me to not get, let's say, used or mistreated by someone by getting into something with them, which in reality I should have just never entered anything with this person, or I should have just ended it once there was something I didn't like, which is why I'm saying that was very childish of me. I asked myself, why am I getting myself into this? And it was also because in my head, I was like, well, it's convenient, whatever. I enjoy spending time with this person. It's fun. It is what it is. So I was completely wrong on that end too. But my ex at the time, well, no, she wasn't my ex yet, but because I had the timeline in my head. But then I ended up asking her out, and she was my girlfriend for a solid month. It sounds like I'm in middle school, but then I ended up breaking up with her 4 to 5 weeks later. Because I just knew instinctually, I'm like, I can't be in a relationship with this person. I just don't want it. It's not there. Because also during our time together, I had tried to emotionally open up to her. I was going through a really bad mental state at the time. I really felt alone. I felt like I needed someone. And, I'm not going to be childish and exactly explain the exact scenario of what happened. But I just remember we went out to eat, and I opened up about how I felt, and it's not something I normally do. And it was the answer I received to it was just, it told me that, yeah, you're not there for me emotionally, essentially. I'm not going to say what they said out of respect, because I don't want to put a bad light on anybody, but it was just the answer I received. And by the way, I mean no disrespect towards this person. And unfortunately, this is something that person and I, we never spoke about to this day. Well, we did talk about it, but I never truly explained the significance of what it meant to me, which is also a mistake on my end. I should have said something, and I never did. So that's why I'm not gonna go ahead and just say it on a show episode and not to them. But yeah, after being told that it was just for me, that was a clear indicator that emotionally they were not there for me, and it was hard because me and this person, we were never in click. We were never in sync. We were never on the same wavelength emotionally. I would say our time together was very superficial. It was just based off of more physical, intimate acts, and kind of just feeding into each other's, I guess, mental games. But there weren't really any games. There wasn't anything toxic being done, because I don't like to feed into toxic behavior. I don't like playing toxic games. So all this to say that after we had broken up, we had stayed in contact. Another big mistake. And then it was not right. We shouldn't have stayed in contact. And then it just ended up hurting that person, because as they saw I was like getting more and more distant and not keeping them around in my life as much, it ended up breaking their heart. And, you know, I don't like hurting anybody. You know, I really don't enjoy that. But all this to wrap it up. They just because, and I left out I left out some significant details and everything just because, out of respect, and it's just some other things that's just not worth mentioning, which it would make more sense to the story, but at the end of the day, the show's not about me. The only reason I'm bringing all this up is just to say that if you just look at this entire story of what I just told you, as you can see, I didn't ask myself, why am I getting into this person? I just got into it to get into it, and that person did the exact same thing. We both made the wrong mistake of just being like, oh, let's just get together and like whatever, we're just entertaining each other, which I guess had it's been something light and casual, I guess sure. I mean, it's not that I really enjoy doing that, but it would have been better than just getting into a quote unquote serious relationship where we weren't even there for each other emotionally. I tried my best to be there for them emotionally. I'm not even going to comment on their side, but all this just goes to show that, like, and like I said, again, no disrespect to anybody. I really don't mean bad. I'm not doing this to talk down on anyone. I'm not. It's just to take my experience, and that I hope you all can learn, and just to show you that, like, I do the same mistakes too. I've done the exact same thing as you, S. I'm not any perfect, any better. So that's why before everything I said, I say it because I know where you're coming from, and I want you to learn and to not have to go through this all over again, because it is emotionally taxing. So, and it's not to say that you can't be on good terms with someone after everything. Like with this person, my quote unquote ex, my half ex, because I was only with them for 5 weeks. That's why I say 3.5 relationships. They had texted me on my birthday. Really nice, sweet message. They wanted to rekindle. I chose to not go that route because I didn't think there was going to be any good ending to that. And like I said, there were some things that had happened where I can't, it's just not going to end good. I'd rather things end on the note that they ended on instead of things escalating and getting worse. And that's just the type of person that I am. Like if something ended with a happy ending, I'd rather just leave it at that than just go back and rewrite the ending and make it bad. Because sometimes just moving on in life with a smile is the key to success. And just smile and wave. So for you, at the same thing where the point that you're at with your ex, just let him go. No matter what the situation is, just let him go. Just learn from this, all I can tell you, and just be better for you and the next person you choose to be with. And make sure that if you're going to jump into something with someone, you do it for the right reasons. Don't jump into something with someone just to be selfish, or don't jump into something for someone just for them to make them happy. That's another thing that I've done way too often, and it's getting into something with someone just to make them happy is not gonna end well. It's only gonna hurt them more. And getting into something with someone just to make yourself happy, knowing that you're going to neglect them, is even worse. It's selfish. It's unfair. And we can't do that. So all this to say, S, I hope you learned from this. I wish you nothing but the best. And I hope that you find something happy with someone in the near future, and that you can have a proper relationship filled with true emotional connections and happiness. So, to sum up everything, 1, ask yourself, why am I getting into this? Why do I want this relationship? It's better to have no relationship than a half-assed relationship where you're both struggling to match each other's needs. 2, ask yourself your actions, the emotional connections, your emotional intention behind everything. Are you doing it because you truly want to, or are you doing it just to compensate for something? 3rd, everyone deserves to be happy. So, if you guys cannot make up this relationship, break up. Move on. Don't focus on their actions. And lastly, consider what that person means to you and what the relationship means to you. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode. Thank you, S, for submitting and, holding accountability and, having still the courage to put your situation out there and to have people listen to it and to have someone talk about your entire situation. Thank you so much. It truly does mean a lot. I hope there was no feeling of disrespect. I really hope that you understand this is always out of a place of love, and I just want the best for you and everybody listening, and for all of you to live your happiest lives. So, on that note, have yourself a great day, a great morning, or a great night. I love you all. Mwah. And now I have to go finish the rest of my day. I have to go. This is the favorite part of the episode. It's the little rambling right after. I love it. But now I have to go work out. Oh, my body's in so much pain. My body cannot keep up with this anymore. I feel like I'm 40 or 50 sometimes. But my body will prevail. I will prevail no matter what. Funny thing about even just bringing up a past relationship on the show, always a risky move. I'm always scared to bring in details because it's like I want to talk about it sometimes. Like, I would love to go into full-fledged details of a story. But my first problem with it is, one, I'm making the episode about me, which I don't want to, because I never want the show to be about me. I want it to be about everyone but me, And second, I never want to anger or offend somebody I'm talking about. Regardless of how things ended with me and that person, I always feel bad because I'm like, I don't want to think I'm judging them on social media or I'm hating on them. It's never my intent. It's truly to just talk about the situation in true transparency for educational purposes. But then the thing is that like I spoke about before, sometimes my truth of the situation isn't always the same as their truth of the situation. So what is full transparency? You know what? I should honestly have a show. I should have a series where I bring on some of my past relationships or past situationships, and we talk about what we went through together so that you can learn from my mistakes that I've done in relationships. I think that would be a great series. I might actually consider that. I'm gonna bring them on the show. We're gonna tell our story together through our eyes at the same time, from start to finish, where things went wrong, what we did good, what we did bad, and how you can learn from it. Oh my God, I might actually do this. You know what? I'm gonna make a TikTok about that. So thank you very much. You guys are giving me terrible ideas. I'm giving myself terrible ideas. You know what'd be the worst part? Imagine seeing your man do a show, doing a show like this with all of his exes. Every episode there's another ex while you're in a relationship with him, and just knowing all his exes and just always, just coming over to his place every week. Now, honestly, if you have faith in your companion, there's nothing to ever worry about. But man, impulsive TikTok idea. Anyways, guys, I gotta go now. Love you guys. Have a great day. Mwah. Talk to you soon.